In your mind, what have you found any sort of link between what makes a movie successful, or what makes majority of people who watch the movie like connect and like be on the edge of their seats the entire movie? Or have you saying it's different for each movie?
In what terms of successful? Like audience reaction, critic, box office. I mean, it's hard to, but all of them I think have
Yeah.
different things going for
So I actually want to know all three because I have no idea. But let's start with
them.
audience engagement. Like what creates the success of a movie that keeps audience like super engaged the entire movie?
the so something that we're like the majority of audiences respond to. They like a general full like 3 act structure. You want like a 40-minute begin, or probably like a shorter beginning. You probably want like a 25-30 minute beginning, a 45-minute build up, and a pretty quick conclusion. I think audiences now, unless it's a big superhero movie, which are kind of their own special thing, they've kind of broken into their own really successful, because they kind of got that trifecta. They're good at box office, most people like them, and critics also tend to like them. So I guess really the most successful kind of movies nowadays are superhero movies, because before like a lot of MCU movies got really big and popular, and also critically well received, and they even win awards. Like they kind of check all the boxes. Before that, the big popular movies were like summer blockbuster, like Independence Day, Michael Bay kind of movies, Roland Emmerich movies, like just big explosiony stuff. And that's because you could take, most of the time they're PG-13. You could take the whole family. Dad's gonna like it. Mom might fall asleep, but like it'll get the most people to go see it. But now you have when you have these big superhero tentpole movies, which kind of are the most successful, they also combine something else that's been more successful, which is long form storytelling. TV shows have gotten a lot more popular, or streaming shows. People like to see things in 8-part series now, like a lot of the big documentary series. A lot of the big like popular streaming shows are all 8 episodes that are 45 minutes, and really the MCU and the DC universe to a lesser extent, they're kind of long form TV. They're just big episodes. Is the one, you see the next one. They all loosely have to do with each other. Um, but it's people like cohesive storytelling, and people like the universe making sense, especially when it's a lot of things like together. Like they like things tied up neat. They don't like continuity errors. That'll catch them every time. But like stuff like the actual writing, and even like some of the way things are shot, I think on a getting people to watch it scale, that's not as always as important. I think it's a lot more of the big picture storytelling
Mm-hmm.
that people respond to.
Yeah, I think especially with those comic book movies, I think what you
Hmm.
said about the universe making sense. Like if you like, if so, say if there's like comic book series and they go into a movie and then they like tweak the storyline a little bit, you'll have critics who've like read the comic books just like oh, this movie's trash.
Yeah.
They changed this. This is actually this and this. So I think it is really weird. Like it becomes, especially with those long style, like almost episode like movies, it becomes almost where like they do exist in their own type of universe. And if you even tweak them so slightly, the audience like kind of like pulls away because they were so like, I know my mom watches this show Supernatural. I don't know if you know what it
Hmm.
is. And
Yeah.
when they do something like that, they just finish. But when they do something like that and they tweak it, she gets upset. And it's almost like those, it's its own universe itself, you know? So I do understand what you're saying about like people like that episodic, kind of long style movie. And I think, and to an extent, if they're going to have a next part, I think people like the cliffhanger a lot, you know? People
It keeps
don't,
them coming
yeah,
back like a long form TV series
yeah.
would, like like Stranger Things, very popular Netflix show. They leave with cliffhangers, but like they're smart. A lot of their seasons will end with something that satisfyingly wraps up that story, and just enough to make you want to come back. But if it were to end, it would still be satisfying. That's a smart way to go. And like MCU, I think it's just like kind of the best example, because I'm a big Star Wars fan. That was my first thing I watched when I was younger. That was like a big thing, and I personally think they've kind of bungled like their universe. Like their continuity's bad. Their like things things old fans remember don't make sense with what the new ones show. Not that prequels were much better at that compared to the original trilogy, but Star Wars is kind of a bungled mess, and like things don't make sense, and you really have to have a lot of band-aids in the universe for people to care. Because that's the thing, is you have to have people continue to care about these characters movie over to movie. Whereas the MCU, they have like 23 movies and almost everything's pretty tight. Like their continuity errors are more nitpicks than big giant gaping plot holes that don't make sense for movies.
Be sure to follow me on my social media to stay updated with the Collin Demands Answers show live every Tuesday and Friday.